So you want to grow your own watermelons? I'm going to give you the nitty gritty how you can be successful growing your own watermelons in your backyard. One of the main things about growing watermelons is disease problems. Watermelons are prone to a lot of diseases: gummy, stem blight, anthracnose, and just a world of issues that you can have there. You normally don't have much insect pressure, but disease can be a big issue. So that's important that you grow watermelons on new ground or fresh ground. Now, as you can see right here, watch it, Maggie. You can see right here, I've got some clumps in there, and this is residue left over from a cover crop. So I've cover cropped this spot right here pretty heavy for the last couple of years, trying to clean the soil up. Now, when you have that in there, it can be a little aggravating work, but you know what? That's a good sign that you got good, healthy, living soils there. So rotation is extremely important to watermelons. So if you don't have new ground or fresh ground to plant on, then you want to make sure you're in a good rotation practice. Now, I never like to plant watermelons in the same spot for at least 3 to 5 years, preferably on the 5-year side. And I don't like to follow gourds or cucumbers or tomatoes. If you got to follow up another crop, corn's okay, beans is okay, and peas are okay. And that'll help cleanse the soil and make sure that you don't have a lot of disease pressure on your watermelons. Now, the first thing we do after we get our soils all worked up, we're ready to lay off our rows, and we put our drip tape down. Putting that drip tape down underneath them watermelons is something that you're just going to have to do if you're going to be successful growing watermelons. Watermelons are just prone to get disease, and putting this drip tape underneath the root system there helps keep that water or that moisture off them leaves and dramatically reduces your disease pressure. Plus, when those watermelons start vining out, you can't hardly walk through there and move a sprinkler around, so you can turn that valve on there at the end and just water that whole patch of watermelons at one time without having to walk out there and disturb those vines. So I'm just convinced if you're going to grow watermelons, you got to use drip tape. When using drip irrigation, you can plant a little more intense. Normally what I do is I plant on about 4-foot spacing on my rows. My rows are about 4 foot apart. Now you can go up to 5 or 6 foot, be fine, but I try to utilize my land as much as possible, and using that drip irrigation affords me to do that. Now, inside my spacing on my rows, I like to go about 2 foot apart. Now, years ago when we did overhead irrigation, it was a totally different way we planted these things. We planted them a lot more sparse than that. But with this drip irrigation, we can get by. We're planting them 2 foot on our row spacing in between our rows, and as close as 4 foot in between our rows. So make sure you choose the right variety. If you're new to growing watermelons, I would definitely advise you to go with a seeded variety. Now, if you're an experienced gardener and you want to try something new, you can try those seedless ones, and they're kind of challenging to grow. Of course, nowadays, all these youngins out there love these seedless watermelons, so I would understand why you'd want to grow a few of them. But I'm old school. Back when I was coming up, we grew and ate seeded watermelons, and that's what I like today. Now, the variety that I think is probably the one that you can be the most successful with is Sangria. Sangria is a newer variety. I say a newer variety. It's been around about 25, 30 years. But it's a good variety. It's a seeded variety. It's real sweet. It's considered an all sweet. They germinate well. They grow well. They got good disease resistance. As far as a seeded watermelon, they probably got the best disease package out there. Now, you don't have to grow your watermelons as transplants, but I guarantee you it'll help you be more successful. Gives you a head start on those weeds. Gives you a head start on the season. Now, I like to grow mine in this 162 tray. Now, 338 is just too small for watermelons, so you want at least a 162, and this one right here does really good for me. Now, watermelon plants in general can be tender, so what you have to do is wheel you out a little stick right here when you get ready to pop them out there, and just stick it up through there, and that'll release those plugs. See there? If you don't do that, they're going to break off for you. Now, these things are tender, so you have to be real careful with them, kind of like your mother-in-law's love. Be gentle with them. Now, you see that right there? That's what the ideal plug looks like. Nice white root system there. It's rooted in well, but it ain't root bound. That's what you're looking for right there. Now, another good thing I love about drip tape is when you turn it on, it automatically lays off your spacing for you. So you ain't no need in you being out there trying to mark off where you want your watermelons. I plant on every other emitter. You're just gonna take our finger and go down there, got it nice and wet, had it on about 15 minutes. Shoot it in there. Now you wanna plant these watermelons right there at ground level where they was at. Press them in nice and firm there. Every other one. Now, growing watermelons is fun and absolutely rewarding. I love to have them for a summer treat for weeks on end. Put them underneath that pecan tree there, come out there and bust me one open 2 or 3 times a day. It's one of the joys of life I really like. Now, to grow watermelons, you don't have to grow a big area here. For the normal family, 1,000 square foot plot will do you fine. I did a little calculations and kept records last year on my watermelon plot, and I had 2.4 watermelons per plant. And that's pretty much the average there. So you need some going overboard and planting a lot, but plant enough for you and your family and friends, and you'll find it's one of the pleasures of life is having those nice fresh watermelons to share with you and your family and your friends during those hot summer months. So if you want to know more about our products or you want to learn more about vegetable garden, check out these videos.